What's the how long
Buongiorno, buongiorno, Johnny Fisher. I know we haven't started, and you're trying to get off already. How long are we going to be going? As long as you want, as long as you don't fall asleep, Johnny Fisher.
Yeah, of course. Funny.
Listen, I'm going to say first of all, many congratulations against Bezos. You carried it well. You implemented. You did exactly what you needed to do, and you made a massive statement. How does it feel to have won on your Las Vegas debut?
It feels great, Gareth. Really good, especially the build up to this camp. I got cut 3 or 4 weeks into the camp from the fight, so I literally got out there for a week, done a bit of training, sparred Michael Hunter, got cut. Listen, it wasn't in a critical position. It was on my nose, but it just meant I couldn't spar. And that was a little bit of a worry playing in your mind. So it was great to get that win and get a first round knockout and get the job done early. So there was no complications.
It was here, wasn't it, from memory?
On the ridge of my nose. And I posted something on social media and people think I was having a rant at Tyson Fury. And that didn't even cross my mind because having a cut on your nose is nowhere near as severe as having it right on your eye. And for me to even criticise Tyson Fury, one, I'm a Tyson Fury fan, and two, I'm nowhere near his league, so I'm no one to criticise someone fighting for the undisputed championship.
While you're on that, do you think it's unfair, the criticism he gets?
100%. He's got a cut in his eye. Literally, he's fighting in the biggest fight of heavyweight boxing history since Lennox Lewis won the undisputed title, or something. Or you know what I mean? It's a long time since we've had that fight. And,
25 years. 25 years, Jay.
25 years. So he's got to be in tip-top shape. He's got to be ready because Usyk's no joke. Probably the second best in the world, up there in the top three. So he's got to be on form, and having a cut on your eye is not going to be ideal.
40% of stories in Vegas you can never tell. Yeah. You were out there, I want to say probably about 30 odd days, were you?
I was out there since the 29th of November, 29th of December. So what's that? About 5 weeks. Yeah.
Tell me about Johnny Fisher in Vegas, because I'm going to talk about the whole Bosch Soldier Army and John Senior. Tell me about the whole Vegas experience, from the depth of the place, from there's always something to be able to do, to the fact that there are amazing gyms, working with Ismail Salas, an old friend of mine. Tell me about the whole experience.
The whole experience was fantastic. As you know, I've been there a few times before. This time I was staying at the Plaza Hotel and Casino, where they filmed the fantastic film Casino with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. The first night I was there, I met Oscar Goodman, who was the mob boss, the mob attorney to these guys. And it was fascinating to be in where they filmed it, on that original part of the strip, downtown, where all of that history can be experienced. The Mob Museum, literally 100 meters away from the hotel. So amazing place. And there's a lot of history in that part of Vegas, and people starting to take a bit more note of downtown as well. But listen, I was training with Salas as well, as you said, the Cuban guys. I was in that gym, and not many people could speak English. Only 1 or 2 people, only Salas himself and a couple of others. And the people I was doing pads with were really good guys. And even though they couldn't speak English, I was still learning a lot off of them, from the movements, from the way they was communicating with me without being able to speak English. What a fantastic experience. And that's definitely built me as a fighter as well, that camp. I'm going to do it maybe once a year. I'll go over and do a bit of training over in Salas's gym, just to broaden my horizons a bit, you know?
Yeah, like you say, Fremont Street's an amazing place, the old town. And you know, I think the Lucky Horseshoe's gone now, hasn't it? The hotel.
I think so.
Yeah, but I do remember a time when I was going to Vegas, maybe I'm thinking just over 20 years ago, going there, that that area was a little bit run down, but now you've got the Container Village, which is fantastic. You've got
they've built a new hotel there called Circa next to the Plaza, and it's like a proper party hotel. Spent £1 billion, 1 billion on making that hotel, so that's bringing people in. The Golden Nugget's still going strong. You know more than me, Gareth, but it's a great place.
Binion's the Golden Nugget. You can sit almost out on the light parade. You can almost sit outdoors and play blackjack. It's got a different feel about it. You're going back in time. Have you got a fascination with gangsters and gangster movies then?
Not particularly. We've all listen. I think all to an extent, a lot of us guys, we've got an interest in the mob and things like that, and the great films that we see, whether that's Casino or Goodfellas or The Godfather. But it is interesting when you're walking them streets that you know that. I think his name was Anthony Spilotro, the mob boss who was down there. It's just the history. They've got a big screen right outside the plaza, and it shows you the development of Vegas as a place from when they first settled there. And it literally was just like an outpost town.
Absolutely.
And then as the years went on, more things got added, a bit more entertainment through the 50s, 60s, and it became what it was. And now it's sort of, it declined, obviously, as the main strip took over. And now there's a lot of sort of hipster people trying to come and trendy people trying to revitalise it. And yeah, it's great to see because that is the original part. And if I look at the strip as I'm going from the main strip to the downtown, there's new hotels being made literally between them two bits. So eventually, my guess would be in 50 years' time, or maybe less than that, the strip and the downtown could even be connected because the Fontaine Blue's just been made as well, which is stretching towards the Strat, and there's a couple more just popping up. So interested to see how it develops in the years to come.
That area, I mean, do you know what? I was going to Vegas so much at one point. I mean, I think I've definitely been there over 100 times. And there was a time when I was going there and I had a girlfriend in America as well at the time. There was a time when I was going probably to Vegas about 13 times a year, 14 times a year with UFC and boxing. No, I actually looked at buying a property or two between the Stratosphere and the Old Town, what's now called the Arts District. Yeah,
the Arts District. Yeah, a lot of the locals tend to go there, don't they?
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
I go there. There's a place called Rebar that's got music in the back of it, but it's also an antique shop as well.
Oh,
and there's several places along there. I think Charleston Street or something might be one of them. But what they're doing is eventually, it used to be called the Naked City. There was a square mile behind the Stratosphere that was full of it was very easy to get killed at night down there, dangerous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that area's come up now, and they are going to build on that, and it will join the old and the.
I think so. I can see that happening. Yeah. Talking about dodgy areas and dangerous areas, me and Sonny Cannon, we had a lot of washing to do one day, and we looked for a laundrette, and we ended up going 5 minutes in the wrong direction. We saw the mole people, the people that live under in the sewers and on the sides of the streets, very deprived. But we ended up accidentally going to a laundrette in the projects, and we had a very, very wonderful gentleman who owned the laundrette who was helping us, who just got out of prison, 17 years for armed robbery. But he said, just keep your head down in this area because people like you don't normally come to this area, and there's a bit of danger around here. But everyone we met there was as good as gold, so it was a great experience.
There's a lot of guns in Vegas, and there's a lot of crime.
All you need is a driving license to get a gun. Someone told us, one of the shop owners.
That's
amazing.
I mean, it's yeah. Did you go to the range or not?
I didn't. I've been to the range before, but
on Dean Martin Drive, that one.
I think so. I went with Joe Joyce, and he took us to a good one, and it was great. But Gareth, when I'm in training camp, like the glitz and glamour of Vegas becomes a sideshow to it, and I'm just there training, and it's a mundane existence wherever you are, whether you're in Las Vegas or you're in Spain, it doesn't matter. You're just training. You go and do your training, have a bit of food, go back to your room, relax, don't do anything, and you can't really experience it all. Even though you're there for 5 weeks, you're not enjoying the experience. It's only till after the fight that you can go and let your hair down a bit and go and chill out. But I'm happy for the boss soldiers who went over there because they had a good few days of doing the gun ranges, going to helicopter rides, doing all this stuff. So they had a great time.
Is that because you can't be distracted from what your objective is?
I just think when you're in a training camp, it's good to have it mundane and have it boring. Listen, it's still relaxing. You can go out for a bit of food and you've got your team around you, but yeah, it's not a good look, is it? If I'm going on a helicopter ride or shooting guns, I think for me, I've got to keep things basic, keep things stripped back. And I was very grateful for the hospitality I got in the hotel at the plaza. And I was comfortable, just relax, sit around the pool maybe a couple of times. I like to keep it as basic as I can because the more stuff you're doing, if I'm going out to these places, I'm sapping energy for myself. And that could take away from a pad session. That can take away from a strength and conditioning session. So I'll try and keep it as basic as I can.
That's very interesting psychology. I was delighted for you. I did see it. As you know, I follow you. I'm
Yes.
following your career.
You're part of the Bull Army.
Part of the but I'm the matador in the Bull Army. I'm afraid
You are. You are. You control us.
I have the cloak. But no,
Yes, you do.
I was delighted for you, and I wanted to get your take on what was it like to have your face and name, and well done, Johnny Fisher, up in lights on the plaza on that giant screen at the end.
It was amazing. It's surreal to think that 3-4 years ago I wasn't even boxing properly. Really, I had a couple of amateur fights, not really knowing where it was going to go. And fast forward 3.5 years, and we've got our name up at Fremont Street in Las Vegas. And listen, it's testament to the great people I have around me. Jonathan Jostle, who owns the Plaza Hotel, what a man he is. And
how did that come about? How did that come about then? With the Plaza and your father and him.
So Jonathan's he's got English roots in him. He's also got a bit of South African in him. And one of his friends from New York sent a video once of my dad doing his stuff, eating Chinese, saying Bosch, and he got a fascination with Big John, and he got Big John over to do a bit of promo work for the hotel for a few nights. I think it was summer 2022 or last summer in 2023. But they built a relationship. Jonathan's a massive boxing fan, and he said we approached him and we came to a deal where he becomes a main sponsor for this fight and give me a bit of accommodation for in the hotel. And it is like going back in time in that hotel in a good way. You know, it's kept its sort of 80s roots. You're walking around the hotel, he's playing Whitesnake, he's playing Survivor, he's playing all the old school tunes. You know, Tom Petty's coming on. And the Carousel Bar is amazing that they've just built there, and it looks like an iconic place. It is the iconic spot, that Carousel Bar now at downtown Vegas. People stopping for photos. So really, really good guy Jonathan is, and you know, a good businessman, but he's become a good friend now as well. And we can build a great relationship together over the years if we go back to Las Vegas.
How does it feel that your dad does more social media and more videos and is more profligate online than you are even?
Big John's a bigger sensation than me, and it's fantastic because I remember the days when my dad was working all the hours God sent him, delivering cheese and meat and not making any money for it, just turning profit up, turning money over to pay for our mortgage. We was living hand to mouth, especially in COVID. So this is a much better way and a much more fun way of making money and making your living. It's not a fortune, but he's doing things that he enjoys now, and God smiled favourably upon him and allowed him to do that. So, listen, when he was selling my tickets in the first few fights, he wasn't known, and then he became more and more known. And when we got him in the ring after the Torero fight, the O2, he just built up a little bit more, and people were taking notice of Big John, and now he's become a sensation. It's actually going to Australia at the end of this month, so we're getting ready for that. So it's exciting times for Big John.
To keep the bovine analogy going, he's certainly taken the bull by the horns with it, because he's relentless. No, I was laughing when he was showing us around the suite that he'd been given at the Plaza. And it was very sweet in a way. And I'll come to another thing in the suite in a minute.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
That he was so made up with his accommodation. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What it is, them rooms, Jonathan, because downtown, look, it's not got the glitz and glamour of the Bellagio or the Wynn, but that room was fantastic for him. A massive, big room as well, nice big space, and it's normally reserved for the high rollers. So he felt a little bit important walking around. And my dad's not a flash or arrogant person. He just shows you of how it is, and he's always going to be honest. And he loved every second in the Plaza, and we all did. All the Bosch Army did. We had about 20 rooms in the Plaza dedicated to the Bull Army. So a lot of people, majority of my people, were staying downtown.
Now, I've seen you dancing on your toes since you've come back with Mark Tibbs.
Yes,
the great Mark Tibbs. I liked the look of that. I liked that bouncing on your toes.
Yeah.
When you fight, you plant your feet. That's one thing about you. Tell me about that. Is that something new you're going to be working on?
Well, we work on it every now and then, me and Mark, and I've got that to my game as well, Gareth.
I like the movement, Johnny. I like the movement.
Yeah, I think it's good. And listen, I've got a good friend called Jess Harding. You must know Jess
I know
Harding is.
Jess very well. Yeah, back
He
in the
said to
day.
me,
Yeah.
Johnny, you don't get good until you've had 20 fights. And I know
Yeah.
exactly what he means because I've
Yeah.
only just started to relax in my fights and I can relax even more. And
Yeah.
the more relaxed I am and the more comfortable I am in that environment of a fight, the more I can do them things which I do in sparring, which is dancing around, which is flurrying. So I'm in no rush to go anywhere until I've got that feeling where I'm zen. I'm in that flow state. And I like watching Dimitri Bivol. And I like the way he does it. He's like on his toes. His footwork's fantastic. I'm not saying I'm ever going to be as good as him or be able to replicate that, but if I could take a little bit of that away from it, I like it how he jumps in and out, rocking back and forwards with his jab, turns it into a hook. Was just playing around with different things. Obviously, as a heavyweight, I don't want to jump around too much because you expend your energy a bit quicker than other people. But if I can add a bit of that to my fighting game, I can do it in sparring, but I'm going to take it and translate it in. We do it great, and there's no man better than that than Mark Tibbs to allow me to do that.
Absolutely right. Well, what was John doing in the hotel suite, dancing around on his tiptoes?
He was.
That was a very odd video.
Oh, that video. There was two videos. So one video was a naked barman video when he was serving drinks as a naked barman. That went viral. But then
I missed that one. I'll have to have a look. Yeah.
Have you seen Saltburn?
Oh, I have seen Saltburn. Yes, I have. Yeah.
So he's trying to imitate
horrible, harrowing film.
Yeah, very, very strange and disturbing. And there's that trend going around of trying to imitate him at the end when he's doing that dance when he overtakes the house.
And he's dancing around naked.
Yeah.
Naked. That's it. So that's what it was.
Big John's done his take on it, and it would have been better filmed if Henry done it, and he would have made it a little bit better content. But I think the raw footage was shocking enough for people. So that's enough to see Big John dance around like that.
I wondered whether I should watch it to the end, but in fact I did.
You couldn't take your eyes away.
On to things in the heavyweight division. Straight up question. June the 1st, Las Vegas. Not Las Vegas, Riyadh.
Yes.
Beterbiev against Bivol. Pick a winner first of all in that one.
Do you know what? I think Dimitri Bivol's if there's anyone to beat him, he's the man with the footwork that we were talking about. Because Beterbiev, he's a front foot fighter. He has to plant his feet at times to get them big and powerful shots off. I'm not saying that he's winding them in, but he plants his feet and he goes to work. And someone like Bivol who can be a bit mysterious and might not have the punch power of Dimitri Artur Beterbiev. He's got huge boxing skill, and the Matador can most of the time beat the ball.
Yeah, well, I'm going Beterbiev at the moment. I think I've been influenced by the fact that I've been at both their last fights, and Beterbiev against Callum Smith was so impressive for me because you'll know this. He doesn't throw 3, 4, 5. He then throws 6 and 7.
I watched that fight again back because I was in Vegas when that fight was on.
Yeah,
and I was watching it in the background. Couldn't really take it in. I watched it back and listen. Callum Smith's a fantastic operator himself, world class, world champion. He's been so. For him to dismantle someone like that shows the level. But I think I've got a feeling Bivol can do this.
I understand. We'll talk heavyweights now. I understand from what Turki Al-Sheikh was saying that Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are going to pick 5 fighters from 5 weight divisions that they're going to be given. If Eddie is asked pick a heavyweight and you're chosen as the heavyweight, you won't know who the opponent is till it's announced. Have you heard how they're doing this? I think so. Yeah, they're going to be given 5 weight divisions, right?
Yeah,
and we know it's June the 1st. It's in line with.
They're getting 2 and 2, and then Turki Al-Sheikh's getting 1 pick as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So interesting.
If he says, Johnny, you're my heavyweight, and you don't know who it's going to be against until it's revealed, If he says, do you want to fight on 1st of June in Riyadh on that card, would you be a yes?
Well, it's very hard to say no to something like that, isn't it? That sounds amazing. We spoke to my dad about this, and listen, I've got my own career path that we've got in our head, but things often change, and you have to assess as you go. But it's hard to say no, Gareth.
What if Frank Warren's guy was Moses Atauma? You and Moses Atauma. Now that is a fight. When I've mentioned it to people, you're both very young in your careers, obviously. He's a rising star. You're a rising star for different reasons and different places. He's chasing this Mike Tyson records. You know, he's a dangerous southpaw.
He is.
You're a big punching, getting more experienced heavyweight who is just getting better and better. If it was him and you didn't know it was going to be him and you even thought it was going to be him, would you take that fight?
I would take it of whoever it is, even if it was my good friend Joe Joyce, you know. Sometimes as a professional athlete, as a sportsman, you have to take risks and you have to be in it for the win, and I'm in it for the win. So whether it could be anyone, Joyce, Adelaide, Tuma, I'm up for anything. But it's the price has got to be right, like it does for anyone. And because as you said, we are early in our careers, and that's something we've got to fathom in. But I think there's an appetite for these big fights now, and if you get left behind, then you won't be in the game. So I've got plans of my own. The plans of my own is to fight and headline in London, because now we've got these great fights happening in Saudi Arabia. There's a bit of a gap in the market. We're not having massive fights as such in England, and I'm not saying that I'm a massive fight, but I bring a big crowd, and a lot of my supporters are hungry to see me fight in England. So that's what's on my mind primarily, but things always change.
Just to reveal, I think 400 of your fans went out to Vegas, didn't they?
Yeah, I had a good few hundred out there, and amazing to have them out there. So people spending not only for their tickets for that, but their plane tickets, their hotels. It's £1,000 or so each. It's got to be more than that.
It's more than that. It's more than that. Yeah.
So I'm just humbled by that. And listen, it's great that the people done that, and I'm so happy that they did. But there's people at home who had other commitments for work, or they've got financial commitments. They're just as important to me, because these are the people that turn up in their thousands when I fight in London, when I fight at Ali Pali or the O2. So everyone's important to me, and it's just a special occasion that so many could still come out to Vegas.
Yeah, well, like you say, 400 people all spending 1,000, 3,000 each. That's generating economy of 1.2 million. So it's amazing, isn't it? Really,
it's amazing.
From small acorns, great oaks. If you were to look at London, are you looking at a defence of your Southern Area title against another kind of up and coming heavyweight? What are you thinking?
Yeah, or it could be like Eddie spoke about an English title eliminator, things like that along that.
Copper Box, York Hall, O2,
Royal Albert.
Royal Albert.
Oh,
Royal Albert.
That would be amazing. Okay. So when he said that to me when we spoke over Christmas time, that just got my mind racing. That's what I'm targeting. Jess Harding's always spoke to me about how good that is. Spencer Oliver as well.
Yeah.
Mark Tibbs has fought there as well. So to fight there in this Coliseum-like environment would be amazing.
Yeah, I've covered a few events there. It is an amazing place. It really is. It's almost like it's made for boxing.
Yes.
Staying on the heavyweights, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. We haven't had a chance to speak about it since it's been announced. Eddie Hearn famously said Johnny Fisher could beat Francis Ngannou in a round.
I can.
Yeah. So if that fight falls through with Joshua, would you step in against Ngannou?
It would be an honour. It would be an absolute honour. Not that Francis Ngannou takes any notice of me. And the way Eddie put that comment across makes me sound quite brash and bullish when it comes to things like this. I admire Francis Ngannou. They'll make a film about his life. He's an absolute legend. And but listen, I'm a heavyweight. I can punch. I'm very powerful. And he's not the most experienced boxer himself, like myself. So that fight is one that could end very quickly for both of us. So I'm absolutely available to step in. Not that anyone would take any notice of me, but I think I've got it. I've got a chance in that fight.
What does Anthony Joshua do against Francis Ngannou? How do you see that fight?
Solid jab. I look at the way he fought Otto Wallin, and I think a lot of single shots he threw are 1-2s and 1s and 2s, but good fundamental boxing skills were shown. And I think that's the way you got to go about fighting Francis Ngannou, because he lacks that experience of the other guys. He's an unorthodox fighter. So Joshua got crisp shots, clean shots, and don't get too greedy. and the power he's got, he doesn't have to be too greedy. So I would expect Ngannou to be done within 6 rounds, but I said the same about Fury, and he could upset us again. And what a story that would be, adding to it. If he beats Fury, then he beats Joshua, and then all he's got to do then is beat Usyk, and then he's the king.
Finally, Johnny, when you were out in Vegas and you saw your name up in lights, and you're very realistic always, the whole time I've known you, probably the last, I think it's probably 3 years we've known each other now, that
yes,
you've always been, I'm going to take it a stage at a time. Yes, I want to be a world champion. I want to get to be a world champion, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. When you went to Vegas and you had that experience and you dealt with it, you look like you just soaked it all up, and you grew from it all.
Yes.
Are those dreams of going further and beyond, and are they growing all the time?
Them dreams are always there, and they always will be there. But they're only dreams until you can put it into action. And as I said, you spoke to me countless times. To make that dream a reality is you just look at the next step that's in front of you. And the next step a couple of weeks ago was to beat Dimitri Bezus, who's 10-1, a big old unit, and it's more about the fact of having my American debut and trying to impress. And that was great experience. The training camp, I learned and grew from that. It's not just the fight itself, but it's everything you do around it. And the picture becomes a bit clearer. A year ago, 2 years ago, I wasn't even looking at a southern area, and I picked that up. And then I won Young Boxer of the Year. And now I've made my American debut. So all these little pieces of the puzzle are adding to the potion that make someone a better fighter. And listen, Gareth, I might end my career and I might challenge for a British title. I might win a British title, and that would be amazing because I look at the history. I'm a servant of history. I love looking back, and I know how important that belt is. So I'm never over ambitious. I'm never cocky or arrogant. But yeah, if you're in a sport and you're in a business or you're in any walk of life or career, you want to do as best you can. And why not aim for the stars and aim for a world championship? But I know how hard it is to get there.
Do you ever look at it and go, my life is very, very unusual?
Yes, I do. I look at not only me, I look at Big John. I look at where we've come from. We was on our knees at one point. I was working for 50 quid a day, working 15 hours days, and then going back and training, and then
doing what? Doing what? Doing what?
Working with my dad, working on the van, going around Essex, going up north, delivering meat, just for an existence which we was just getting by, living hand to mouth, selling this meat, not making much profit. And then I come back, train in the garden for an hour at about 2, 3 a.m. Then I go back and finish my dissertation on the aerial bombing of Germany, 44 to 45. So everything was happening at once, and there didn't seem like there was any help or any light at the end of the tunnel. But then within 6 months, everything changes and turns around. And I know I'm humble enough to know that can change again. So I'm enjoying my life, getting to do interviews and coming to talk sport with you on Saturday night, things like that. It's just great. I'm living the dream, as you know. So as long as it lasts, I'm very, very grateful. And whatever happens, I've had a great time so far.
And that history degree at the greatest university in the world, Exeter University.
The greatest university in the world, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Not bad at rugby either.
Yeah, I played there myself.
You did.
All these things, finally, do you have faith in the journey, in the higher force, that all these things are happening for you at the right time and in the right way, the right reason? I know you don't drink or smoke. And like you said, when you're in Sin City, you see the lights, but they don't draw you.
They don't.
Do you have a faith in you that takes you to this as well?
I do have a faith in myself. I believe in God. I do. I don't bang on about it too much, but I believe, and I think there are things that are above us, that everything happens for a reason. And you've got to do everything in your power to make it happen. But there are people watching up you. My granddad, I know he's watching over me as well. And whatever happens in life, it happens for a reason, and you've got to roll with the punches, if you pardon the pun.
Johnny, I'll see you at the weekend live on Talk
See you
Sport.
then, mate.
I'll be presenting Fight Night with you. Thank you very much indeed, and Spencer Oliver. Thank you very much. Great to see you. Brilliant success. Always good to talk to you, my friend.
Great to talk to you, my friend. I'll see you on Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, Gareth.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.